So you guys have been asking for it, more second channel uploads, you're getting it. We're keeping on the theme of tier lists, and since the PS5 dropped a couple days ago, the Xbox, whatever they call it nowadays, dropped a couple days ago, let's talk about consoles. I've been a video game player for a long time in my life, since I can remember. We're doing this live on Twitch, twitch.tv/DraftNeckMark. You know where to find the socials, links in the description. You're checking out the chat over here, commenting along with the tier list. They're gonna be giving their feedback as well. But you know what to do, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Welcome to the second channel, where we talk about everything but baseball. So let's go ahead and start this tier list off.
Ready?
I don't even know what this is. I don't know, I'm a zoomer. And let me tell you, I'm not sure what, is this Atari? What is this? Let's look, is this Atari? I don't think it is Atari. I don't know what this one is. Is it Atari? Doesn't look like Atari. I don't know what this is. I'm a zoomer. I'm not sure. What in the world? Is this a Nintendo Switch? Is this a Switch? No, it's not a Switch. I don't know what that is. Get that out of here. This is an Atari. I've never really played it. Pong was a thing. What is this? What are these two? Is this like Sega? Are these Segas? I don't know what half of these are. This is just a keyboard, it looks like. Are these just keyboards? Not sure what this is. Not gonna lie. So we're gonna put that there. The same thing with this. This one should be a Dreamcast, I think. This looks like it. Someone verify for me. Is this a Dreamcast right here? No one knows what this is. What is this? I don't want that either. I don't know what half of these are. Are these actual video game consoles? I don't like these. We're gonna do mainstream. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. We got the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PSP. This is what people have been looking for. Okay, this is what I wanted here. 100%. This is the good one. This is the one. This is the one. Because I actually know what these are. So now we're cooking with oil. Here we go. Nintendo. The Nintendo was revolutionary for like actual games that wasn't Atari. Atari set the stage. We already talked about it. I don't need to talk about Atari more. Nintendo was the first that gave you like real games. The Nintendo's got to go in B. I've played a Nintendo before. Once. It was a cool idea, and I'm sure when it came out, it was the shit. It was awesome. But it's okay right now. It's B. It's above average. You gotta give it its props because it's a legend. The PSP. Now, if the PSP came out now, this is essentially the PlayStation version of a Switch because the Switch just wants to do this. The PSP was so cool, but it just didn't get nearly the respect it deserved. So PSP, I think, goes in A tier. It's not elite because there were issues with it. Like the discs were super weird. They were like encased in glass and you slid them in there. I think I broke my first one because I tried to open it and it was like, no, it has to stay in the case. It just doesn't make any sense. But the PSP, like now, I would mess around with the PSP. If they were still making them today, I'd have one. That thing's sick. I was playing like MLB 06 with Big Papi on the cover. I had a season with the Toronto Blue Jays. We were winning big things. Pedro Martinez. Super Nintendo's lead. That's like where you saw like the revolution of like Mario started to be really good. That's where you started to see some of those classic Nintendo games really take off. Zelda, Mario. I think that those are the big two that I can think of because those are really the only two Nintendo games I cared about, but they were unbelievable. Super Nintendo was better than the Nintendo, obviously. That's why it's called Super, and I think my parents even played it. You got to put it in S tier because it's kind of considered, I feel like, the king of the original video game consoles. Nintendo 3DS. Do they have just a regular DS on here, or is this just going to count for all of it? Okay, it's going to count for all of it. So Nintendo DS, I'm not going to lie, I bought one when Pokemon Sun and Moon came out. It was because I wanted to play the new Pokemon. Yes, I'm a Pokemon player. Probably surprised you a little bit, but I love me some Pokemon, and that's the only reason why I bought Nintendo DS. Otherwise, I feel like the Nintendo DS personally was trash. This is going to bother some people. I'll put it in C. I'm going to put it in D. I'm not a Nintendo DS guy. Like, it didn't grab my attention. It was trash Game Boy. Let's talk about it like that. It was trash Game Boy. It was not nearly as good as a Game Boy. That's why it goes in D. The Game Boy was better. It has an underrated lineup. Like maybe if you like bad games, I would just play any good game that it had on a real console, like a Nintendo GameCube or a Switch or a Wii or a 64 or something. Anything was better than the Nintendo DS in my eyes. The Wii was cool. The Wii was really, really cool, but the Wii was a flash in the pan. It was a gimmick. It was a bit of a joke, but it was cool because they were like, oh, motion technology, you got the Wiimote, don't put it through your TV screen and break it playing Wii Bowling, because for some reason people forgot, don't let go of the remote. You're not holding a bowling ball. I don't know how that could ever happen. Wii was awesome, but the start was awesome. After like the first month or two, you kind of didn't touch it. And I know mine sitting in my basement collecting dust. It was like a Netflix machine for me because it had Netflix at the start, and that was kind of cool. Oh, the Wii I think goes C. The Wii was cool for a very short period of time, but outside of Wii Sports, the games were pretty horrible. So Wii Sports, elite, S tier. Wii itself, C tier. It's just not that great. PS3, I don't know if you guys remember, but the PS3 was incredibly hard to record videos on. And that's why I bought the Xbox 360, was that the Xbox 360, I could record videos, my friends were on it. PlayStation 3, wasn't it like down for like an entire like 6 months? Like you couldn't go online? I don't remember what it was. But the PS3 had some great games, but overall, it was so much worse. It was peasantry compared to the Xbox 360. PS3 goes in D tier. I don't care how good the games were, you could get most of them on Xbox. I don't feel like I missed anything by not owning a PS3 because there were just too many many issues. PS3 goes in D tier. It wasn't good. PS4 is real good. PS4 is gonna go in A tier. I love the PS4. That was my console of choosing in the latest gen. Of course, we got the PS5 and Xbox, whatever the fuck they call it now. PS4 was my console of choosing. I had both the Xbox One and the PS4, and I was like, oh, PS4 is just so much better. I mean, it's gotta go A. It was so much better than the Xbox One. Great games, great exclusives. Had The Last of Us, which was like one of the best games I've ever played. It was so good, PS4. It will be missed, but the PS5 is looking promising, and I can't wait to play it later. Xbox One goes in C. The Xbox One was so disappointing to me. That was actually the first of the next gen that I bought after the 360, because I was Team Xbox. I went from PlayStation to Xbox, stayed on Xbox, and was like, oh no, this is terrible. First off, the controllers. Should I go grab one? Let me go grab a controller. This controller is the cheapest plastic ever. Within like weeks of having an Xbox One, the triggers stopped working. They stopped being sensitive. The A button would get jammed. The joystick didn't work. I mean, the controller was a piece of crap. And the actual games that you got on the Xbox, like I feel like Halo was the only exclusive, and Halo was pretty not good on Xbox One. So I loved the Xbox 360, and the Xbox One did everything wrong to me. It felt like a Netflix, Hulu, Twitch machine. That's kind of what I used it for, was watching everything else. And the menus, the Windows menus that they had, so stupid. C tier. It wasn't good. PS Vita? I never played the PS Vita. I don't know much about it. I think it's like the updated version. I just never played it. So I'm gonna put in, I don't know, didn't play. I think that's fair because I truly never played the PS Vita. I know nothing about it. This is gonna be PC. PC is A tier. PC's awesome, and PC gamers are gonna be so mad. Drop a dislike on the video already. I know it's coming, but I'm just a guy who likes a controller in my hand, and I know that you can play most games on PC with the controller. That being said, there are a lot of games you can't. PC has awesome games. It's got great graphics, but to me, I just like being able to sit down and play on a TV as opposed to sitting at my desk and playing on a computer. PC's awesome though. CSGO, shooters, elite for PC. That's why it goes in A, but it's not in the god tier of S. Oh, here's the other Nintendo DS. So you know what? We'll put 3DS in C, and then we'll put regular Nintendo DS in D, because at least the 3DS was better than the Nintendo DS. The regular Nintendo DS, trash. 3DS, a little better. They added a 3 to it, so it's gotta be better. GameCube's S. GameCube's S tier. That was an unbelievable console. It was fantastic. I remember going to my friend's house just to play GameCube. I'm not gonna lie. I kept around some friends in my life that had GameCubes, and I was like, I'm gonna be friends with them because I want to go play Smash Bros at their house. I want to go play Super Mario Baseball. I want to go play Mario Sunshine. It has some of the best games that have ever come out. Nintendo always kills it with their consoles. They really do. And the GameCube was one of it. It was awesome. And I love the little discs. The little discs were awesome. Simpsons Hit and Run. Yes, fantastic game. I mean, you could play it on all of them, but the exclusives, it had Pokemon games for it. It's delicious. It might make its own tier. Now, the Game Boy I notice is on here, but I don't see the Game Boy SP. I see Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color. Game Boy Advance was awesome. Game Boy Advance was S tier because you got all the new Pokemon games. You got Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Gen 3, best gen. You got the Yu-Gi-Oh game on there. You got Mario. You got whatever you wanted on the Game Boy Advance. It was travel size. You could bring it with you. I remember going on trips, on planes, on car rides, playing the Game Boy Advance. Lots of hours put into this thing. Maybe it's not S. Maybe I'm wrong, but nostalgia-wise, it's taken over for me. S tier. It is the best Game Boy ever. And then they put the SP, which gave you a screen light, and you didn't need to play with like the light attachment into the adapter because you couldn't play the Game Boy Advance at night. But I'm gonna combine it with the SP because it was that good. S tier. Nintendo 64. Just go ahead and give it the greatest console of all time. It was the greatest console of all time. It revolutionized video games. It had 3D platformers. It had Super Mario 64, the greatest game to ever be made. It had the Legend of Zelda games, Majora's Mask, and what was the other one? I can't remember it. What was the other Zelda game called? Majora's Mask? Hello? Oh yeah, the Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time, the... I love that song. It was fantastic. Nintendo 64 was my first console, the one I remember playing when I was like 4, 5 years old. It was awesome. Ken Griffey Baseball for it. Every single game for Nintendo 64 felt new, felt exciting. There was cool things going on there. They were pushing the limit with video games. Nintendo 64, the greatest console to ever be made. Game Boy Color? I'll give Game Boy Color B just because it like gave your Game Boy games color. That was cool. So like when you got Pokemon, it was actually in color now. It wasn't like the solid one-tone color. And you add a little bit of color to games, it's always better, but it's not nearly as good as the Advance, and the games were still in like that weird 4:3 ratio, and then we eventually switched to 16:9, which of course is superior. Game Boy Color was great though. It just wasn't my Game Boy that I grew up with. It was the one that I got as a hand-me-down. PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1 was really cool. PlayStation 1 was great, but it just wasn't the Nintendo 64. I'm gonna put PlayStation 1 in B. I just remember like there was a lot of problem with scratching discs, and like it was a flawed console, but it was still great. A lot of great memories playing with my cousin, you know, Madden, NBA Live, FIFA, whatever sports game it was, that's what I used the PlayStation 1 for. Otherwise, not much. And Spyro was amazing. Ooh, the PlayStation 2. Oh, I loved me some PlayStation 2. Is it crazy for me to also put PlayStation 2 in S? The PlayStation 2 was so good. The PlayStation 2 was incredible. Now, that's what I moved to after the PlayStation 1. I was a PlayStation 2 guy, but I appreciated the GameCube. Those were like the competitors along with the Xbox. PlayStation 2, great controller, great games. You got Ratchet and Clank, which is one of the best games ever made. Jak and Daxter. I mean, like, just the original games that were coming out. Remember the PlayStation 2 greatest hits? It had like the red bar on it and you get it for $20. Like, that feels like the peak of gaming, at least for me, when I fell in love with video games. PS2 goes in S tier without a doubt. I put so much time and effort into that thing. Loved it. I think I had like 3 consoles because it would break all the time. It was a piece of crap, but it was worth it to buy another one. Now, maybe I'm putting too many things in S tier, but Nintendo Switch is awesome. The Switch is so sick. It is my favorite console right now. Now, I just got the PS5, so I can't, comment on that, but Nintendo Switch is awesome. Super Smash Bros. It's got the Mario games. It's got amazing Zelda games. It's got Pokemon now. I mean, it has got everything that you want. The original games that Nintendo comes out with are always bangers, and that's what they continue to do with the Switch. You can take it on the road. You can plug it into a TV. You can play with friends. It is so good. The Switch, if you haven't bought one, go buy it. It is worth having because you can have a PS5 or an Xbox and a Switch, and you're not going to cross over games. Nintendo's got its own stuff. Everybody else does their own thing. Mario Kart, unbelievable. What is this called? The Nintendo Wii U? Stinks. Horrible. D. I would honestly even give it its own tier. I would give it the most garbage console that I've ever played. I bought it for Super Mario Maker, and it was the biggest mistake of my life. That thing sucks. Why did they make a pad for it that you would try to play on? It was so stupid. It was bad. But without it, you wouldn't have the Switch because they were like, oh, this thing stunk. Let's make it better. Oh, the Switch. There you go. I mean, the Nintendo Wii U is the worst console possibly to ever be made. The Xbox, I'm just gonna give Xbox C. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't play a lot of Xbox as a kid just because it was either PS2 or GameCube. Xbox felt like almost the more adult GameCube PlayStation 2 thing. Like when I was a kid growing up, it felt like it was almost like the mature version for me. I just wasn't like gonna play it. I don't know. Maybe that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. But the Xbox just wasn't for me. I remember playing the Family Guy video game with one of my good friends. That's about the only memory I have with it. So that's it. And then the Xbox 360 is the second king of consoles. The 360 was just far superior to the PS3. I mean, remember Call of Duty when Call of Duty was good. Remember Halo when Halo was good. I mean, if you think about the time when games that are no longer good now were good, I feel like it goes back to the Xbox 360 days, coming home after school in middle school and high school, jumping on the 360, playing for way too long, not doing homework, getting bad grades. That was my life. And yeah, the 360 was just fantastic. I mean, joining Xbox Live parties, the toxicness of the 360, while it might not be good, it's something I'll never forget. Going in and playing a game of Call of Duty and people screaming at each other saying, it was legendary, and it will never happen again, honestly, in gaming. The closest thing that I have to remembering the Xbox 360 days was when Fortnite blew up, and I know that's so cringy, but that was about the only time in the recent history of stuff that gaming has felt like the Xbox 360 days, specifically when Halo 3, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 were out. Those were the golden days. But I've got a lot in S. I like video games. I'm gonna put things that are elite there. I mean, Nintendo 64 childhood, 360, middle school, high school. You got the Super Nintendo, which was like the pioneer of things. GameCube, unbelievable. Game Boy Advance on the go. PS2 was my console of choice, and the Nintendo Switch now, PS5, Xbox, whatever the hell they call it, that is yet to come. I'm really excited though to get my hands on the PlayStation 5. I got it here, haven't played it yet, which we're about to do on stream. So of course, if you like watching these videos on the second channel, you can watch them live, twitch.tv/giraffeneckmark. Links to all my socials in the description. That's where we're gonna wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Not tomorrow, I don't upload daily on the second channel. Who am I kidding? But I'll catch you in another video. I'm sure. Go check out the others. Bye.